Welcome to BIOL102. Now, my dear students, today I am going to start with a new branch of plant biology, and this new branch of plant biology is called plant physiology. Now, all of you know that plant physiology is the study of function of living thing. Plant physiology is the study of function of living things. Okay, so let us start with this slide show of photosynthesis. This is our first PowerPoint on photosynthesis. You are going to receive, I think, two more. Let us start with this photosynthesis. Now, before I start with photosynthesis, I want to introduce you with these terms that are very important, and you have to make note of these important terms. I think I have assigned this responsibility to one of the student, and for your final examination you will get a list of these important terms that we will discuss. This first term is metabolism. You have to know this pronunciation of this term. It is called metabolism, not metabolism. So metabolism, what is metabolism? Metabolism is the sum of all chemical reaction that takes place in a living organism, whether it is plant or it is animal. All living things have number of chemical reactions. A cell is a big chemical factory, and all these chemical reactions that take place in the cell, this is what is called metabolism. This is what is called metabolism. Okay. It can be anabolism. In anabolism, there is buildup of molecules with the help of enzymes that store energy in chemical bonds. Photosynthesis is an anabolic process, constructive process. Energy is built up in anabolism. In catabolism, there is release of energy. ATP is released in catabolism, and respiration is a catabolic process. Okay, two more terms: oxidation, reduction, reaction. And here we say that oxidation is the gain of oxygen, loss of hydrogen, and loss of electrons. Three things happens in oxidation. It is the gain of oxygen, loss of hydrogen, and loss of electron, and also loss of energy. This is what you will remember about oxidation. Reduction, on the other hand, is the gain of hydrogen, loss of oxygen, gain of electron, and gain of energy. So here, these two terms are very important. And this oxidation, reduction, reaction take place side by side. When one is compound is coupled with the reduction of another compound. So this is what is called redox reaction. So you have to understand these two terms. They are very important. Oxidation and reduction. Oxidation and reduction are two very important terms that you have to understand and you have to remember. Okay. Now this is a molecule that is important. This is called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And here I will not expect that you know the detailed chemical formula of this ATP, but and this is a nucleotide. This is a nucleotide, and then here you will have a nucleotide, and then you have ribose sugar, and attached to this are 3 phosphate. Now second and third phosphate bond is important. This is where most of the energy is stored. When ATP breaks down, then it results in the formation of ADP. ADP is adenosine diphosphate. It has 2 bonds, 2 phosphates, and energy is released when ATP is converted into ADP. ADP with energy and phosphate can again be converted into ATP. This is what is called ATP-ADP cycle. This is what is called ATP-ADP cycle. Okay. Now here you have this slide which shows carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of light, and chlorophyll form glucose and oxygen. But this is an old equation. The latest equation I will show you here. This is what you have to remember. 6 CO2 plus 12 H2O. 6 CO2 plus 12 H2O, this is called raw material, and then this in the presence of light and chlorophyll, will form glucose C6H12O6 and oxygen is released. Along with this, 6 water is also given out. So this is the latest summary equation for the process of photosynthesis, and this is what you have to remember. Okay, this is the site of photosynthesis. So here you can see this mesophyll cell. This is where in the leaf photosynthesis takes place. This chlorenchyma with lot of chloroplast, and this is what one of the chlorenchyma cell is, mesophyll cell with chloroplast. This is the structure of chloroplast you are familiar with. It has two membranes on the outside, and it has two parts. You are familiar with the structure of chloroplast. It has grana and it has stroma. Grana is made up of a large number of thylakoid membranes, which are stacked one at the top of other like coins. You have learned the structure of chloroplast earlier. Okay, you have made the slides. This is hydrilla cells, and hydrilla cells are full of chloroplast. I have included this slide because you have made this slide yourself when you were looking at different types of plant cells. Okay. Now here, what actually happens in photosynthesis, or what is the essence of photosynthesis? Essence of photosynthesis is that in this case there is conversion of light energy into chemical energy. There is conversion of light energy into chemical energy. This is what happens in the case of photosynthesis. This conversion of light energy into chemical energy. ATP is formed. So this is what we say takes place in photosynthesis. What are the raw material? Carbon dioxide is raw material. It is 0.03 to 0.04%, and this diffuses through the stomata and reaches chloroplast. And here he has impressed you by saying that 1 acre of corn take 2,500 kilogram of carbon dioxide during one season. And you know that percentage of carbon dioxide has increased in last 50 years due to excessive use of fossil fuels and pollution and deforestation. So carbon dioxide is one of the raw material. The other one is water. There is less than 1% water that is absorbed by plants, which is used in photosynthesis, and some of it is transpired, and the other will take part in chemical reaction. It is incorporated. And the source of electron, as you will see, photolysis of water takes place, and it supplies these protons and electrons, and oxygen is released by the breakdown of water. Light, it exhibits the properties of waves and particles, and here visible light is the one that is important, and you can split this light into component layers when it is passed through a prism. So you have to be familiar with these various wavelengths which are present in visible light. Blue and red are the one which are absorbed, and green is the one which is reflected. The intensity of light is also important. Here is the structure of chloroplast. You are very much familiar with the structure of chloroplast, and you know that it has two membranes, and inside the membranes you have the granum, and the rest is stroma. And he has shown that light, some of the light is absorbed, some of it is reflected, and some of this is transmitted. So this is what happens when the light falls on the chloroplast. There is this visible light, which is important, and there is ultraviolet light and infrared light, which he has shown here, but we are interested in visible light. And here you can see that this visible light falls in this wavelength of 390 to 780. This is measured in nanometer. Violet is at one end, red is at the other, and here I have told you that the blue and the red wavelength, these are the one which are important. This is an Engelmann experiment, and with the help of this experiment, he proved that blue and the red are the wavelengths which are important. I told you that here he used Spirogyra, which is an alga, green alga. It has chloroplast. He put this on the slide, and then he put these bacteria which are hungry for oxygen, and then exposed them to light, passing them through the through the prism, and he found that most of these bacteria will accumulate, assemble at this wavelength which is blue and at this wavelength which is red. This shows that most of the photosynthesis takes place in these wavelengths, blue and the red one. This is 400 and this is 700. So this is Engelmann's experiment, and here this is what is called absorption spectra, and you can see that in this absorption spectra you can see that chlorophyll A and B, they are the one which will absorb the peaks are in the blue region and in the red region. So these are the two wavelengths which are absorbed in photosynthesis, blue and the red one. Okay, chlorophyll, there are different types of chlorophyll, but all of them have magnesium atom in the center, and this is similar to hemoglobin, and it has 4 porphyrin rings with magnesium in the center, and there is this lipid tail. So C55H72 magnesium N4O5. This is what is present in chlorophyll A, and this is what is present in chlorophyll B. There are other pigments also like carotene and xanthophyll. They are also present in the case of this chloroplast. And if we have a lab, then in the lab you will extract this chlorophyll and show these different pigments: chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, carotene, and the xanthophyll. This is the structure of chlorophyll molecule, and see that it has magnesium in the center. These are the 4 porphyrin ring, and this is the lipid tail. Okay, so this shows that there are different pigments in this chloroplast. It has chlorophyll A, it has chlorophyll B, it has carotenoid, and it has xanthophyll. Now we talk about the biochemistry of photosynthesis, what happens in photosynthesis. So first of all, there are 2 reactions, light dependent reaction and light independent reaction. Today we will start with light dependent reaction. We will take up light independent reaction later on, but both of them occur simultaneously. So let us start with light dependent reaction. Light dependent reaction consists of 2 systems. They are called photosystem 2 and photosystem 1. And here I think I will explain it with the help of this diagram. And this is your assignment also. This is taken from your textbook, and you have to make this diagram in your lab manual. You don't have to show the upper part, but this part which shows the reaction, you have to show this part. You have to make this part in the lab manual. This is your assignment. So let us start with the leaf. He has leaf, and here is the chlorenchyma, and here is the chloroplast. Here is the thylakoid, where this light dependent reaction will take place. This is the membrane of thylakoid, 2 phospholipid layers with protein. Now we start with the process of photosynthesis. There are 2 systems, photosystem 2, photosystem 1. It so happened that photosystem 2 was discovered first, so we will start first with photosystem 2. What happened here is that a photon of light will strike the chlorophyll molecule, and here we have pigment P680. The electrons will be excited. They are at a higher energy level. They are accepted by pheophytin. From pheophytin, they will go to other electron acceptor. Oxidation, reduction reactions will take place. Plastoquinone, cytochrome, plastocyanin take part. And in this process, ADP is converted into ATP. So formation of ATP takes place. This is very important product that is found in light dependent reaction. So these electrons will end up in this second center, which is P70, and this P70 will accept these electrons, and a photon of light will again strike P700, and the electrons will go to a higher energy level, and here you see that they will be accepted by iron sulfur acceptor, and from here they will be accepted by ferrodoxin, and from ferrodoxin they will go to NADP, and NADP will be reduced to NADPH. So this is the other product that is formed in photosystem 1, and they will go to the light independent reaction. Now along with this, another important thing happened, and this is photolysis, breakdown of water in the presence of light. Water molecule will break into 2 protons and half oxygen. So if we have 2 water molecules, there will be 4 protons and an atom of oxygen. Now protons will go to NADP and reduce this NADP into NADPH2, and oxygen is the product of photosynthesis. So this is again very important step in light dependent reaction, this photolysis, and the oxygen that we get is because of the breakdown of water into hydrogen and oxygen. So you have to understand this diagram very well. You should be able to explain when I ask you explain light dependent reaction, and you have to explain it with the help of this diagram. Now here, one of the important things that happens here is phosphorylation, and this is addition of phosphorus. You see ADP is converted into ATP. This is called phosphorylation, and since it takes place in the presence of light, so this is photophosphorylation. Photophosphorylation takes place, okay? Now there are two types of photophosphorylation. This type that we have just studied, in which the electron go from photosystem 2 to pheophytin, electron transport chain, to photosystem 1 to iron sulfur acceptor to NADPH. This is called sometimes Z scheme, or this is called non-cyclic. This is non-cyclic photophosphorylation when the electron end up in NADPH2. Now here you know that when the electron escape, there is a hole that is created, and these electrons will come from the breakdown of this water. So this is called non-cyclic. Sometimes what happens is that the cell does not need NADPH, and only photosystem 1 is involved. I will show you another slide where you can see this separately, but this is what happened. Only photosystem 1 is involved, and photon of light will strike P700. Electron will go to a higher energy level. They will be accepted by electron acceptor, and they come back to P700. In this case, there is no photolysis. There is no production of NADPH. Only ATP is produced in cyclic photophosphorylation. Now let us see at other slides. What are the other slides that you have here? So this is the one simple slide which shows again this photosystem 2, and then acceptor, electron transport chain, and then photosystem 1, and then formation of NADPH. This is again another slide which shows photosystem 2 and photosystem 1, which we have already explained. Okay, this is for the kids, and you can see that they have shown this seesaw, and here photosystem 2, the electron will escape. They will be accepted by electron acceptor and go through this electron transport chain, which he has called ATP mills. And then the second photosystem 1, photon of light will again strike, and electron will be accepted, and NADP is converted into NADPH. Okay, this shows again this light dependent reaction in which there is photosystem 2 and photosystem 1. And here, this is what I am talking. This is the electron transport chain. They are passing through this thylakoid membrane, and ADP is converted into ATP in this process. Now I will talk about chemiosmosis, I think, in the next session, but this is what light dependent reaction is. Again, this is movement of this electron. This is the electron transport chain, photosystem 2 and photosystem 1, and the formation of ATP. So this shows the chloroplast and thylakoid membrane, and this is what happens on the thylakoid membranes. This again shows the thylakoid membranes and the movement of electrons and the conversion of ADP into ATP. This again shows the electron transport system, which results in the formation of ATP. So again, light dependent reaction, which is responsible for the formation of ATP and NADPH. And this is the end of this slide. This is the end of this slide. In the next one, I will continue with this light dependent reaction. Thank you.